Hey, what's going on? This video I'm going to do a video on flashlights. For a while, I think in 2012 I got this one. This is a Zebralight H502. Takes one AA battery. Has a Cree XML. You can see it takes one AA. You can use a rechargeable or an alkaline. The CRI on this is really bad. So CRI is the color rendering index, and when you're doing videos or taking pictures at night, you want a high CRI because then it reproduces the color best for the human eye. This one has a CRI of 65, which is really low. Anything above 90 is pretty good. The color of this light is 6300 Kelvin, and it's a floodlight. So what it does is it has a very wide beam, and actually the reflector on this one is glow in the dark, which is really neat. This one is 260 lumens, and it has a pretty good runtime. I think on high it runs about for 1 hour, and on the lowest setting it can run for like 3 months or so. Most of these lights are like that. Alright, so this is this one, but the problem and the reason why I decided to upgrade and change the light is I thought this one had a little bluish tint because 6300 is kind of high, and since the color reproduction index wasn't really that high, I didn't think it was going to be good for videoing at night. So what I did was I purchased this other Zebralight just recently last year. This is a H53fc model, if I'm not mistaken. This also takes one AA battery, and I always use rechargeables because it's, I guess, easier and cheaper in the long run. The thing about this is they didn't offer a flood model with a high CRI, so I ended up getting a floody beam type, and this is more of a kind of a mix of a spot with a little bit of a spread to the beam. This one is about 276 lumens. The light color on this one is much more yellow than this one. It's a 4000 Kelvin, so you can see it's much more yellow. So this would be more towards the morning or sunset, I guess, you know, depending on, the light changes during the day, the sunlight color. The CRI is great on this though. It's a 93 to 95 CRI, so the colors look really great, you know, at night. So it's reproducing the colors really great. The problem with this one is, since it was more of a spot beam, I would get kind of like a hot spot, and it would, you know, would kind of be looking through like a spotlight when you were videoing. So then also I have this flashlight. Before I get into the last one I just recently got, I got this Nitecore that I've had for like maybe 10 years, almost 9 years. It's the D10. I have a few of these, like 4 or 5 of them. And this one I use a, I think a 14500 battery, which is the same size as a AA, but it's lithium, so it's 3.7 volts. This light also can take a AA alkaline or rechargeable, but I like running it with the higher voltage. You get a little brighter. So this one I just use as a backup light. I carry it around. Also, if I ever go bait fishing or chunking and I leave the line out, I use this to spot where the line is. This one I don't really film with much. It's just, again, a spare light. So that takes me to my third headlamp, the Zebralight, the newest one I got. This one takes the 18650 battery, which is huge. It's a lot heavier than the other ones. That's why it has this top strap. Both of these smaller lights come with the single strap. This one actually has the strap above, so it doesn't fall down. This light is amazing. I mean, this one is the one I'm going to use to film and fish with. This one is the new H604d, and when I purchased this, there was a good 4 weeks lead time, so I waited almost a month for this. Again, it uses 18650 LiPo. Not LiPo, but lithium ion. It's a Cree XHP50.2. The CRI is really high on this. It's 93, 95 also. And the Kelvin, I could have chose two, a 4000 or a 5000. I went with the 5000 because I felt like it has a little better color for my taste. It's a flood beam, which is awesome. It also glows in the dark, the reflector. And this is amazing, the amount of lumens it is. It's on turbo mode. It's 1616 lumens, which is super blinding bright. So this is the one that's going to be awesome for night filming. It has a nice wide spread of the beam, and it's super bright, and I can recharge it. And usually what I do is I'll take this top strap off, and I'm just going to hang this around my neck. And when it hangs around my neck, I can kind of adjust the angle of this, which is awesome. I'm not going to go over all the modes. There's a whole bunch of modes. There's strobe, there's different levels, sub-levels, but the Zebralights all are similar in that aspect. But I highly recommend this light if you can afford it. It was expensive. It's in the $90 range, while these are closer to $50 or $60. But I think it's going to be well worth it for filming and night fishing. In a little sec, I'm going to take some shots outside, and I'll post those, and you can see the difference between the lights. Alright, I'm going to start with the Nitecore D10 flashlight. Now this is a, the handheld, and this has a spot. So as you can see, it's very spotty. So when you're shooting it down, it looks there's a hot spot. Next up, I have the older Zebralight from 2012. This has a nice wide beam, but I didn't think it was really that bright for night filming. And also the CRI index was again low at 65. Next up we have the newer one, which has a high CRI, but it's a floody type, and this causes more of a hot spot also, like a spot. But it's a good color reproduction index. And lastly we have the new H604, which is super bright, super high CRI, and it's got a lot of lumens. So this is the light I'm going to start filming with, because it makes it almost like daytime, which is awesome. So hopefully this helps you decide on a light.